Alright, what's going on everyone? Justin again, as always. Thanks for watching my channel. Welcome back. Today I'm working on my 2007 Mercury Mariner. I've just been trying to get some service work done to it. You know, it's been in need of some service work. We're at about 126,000 miles. I've had the vehicle since around 60,000 miles. I was told at that point when I purchased it that this had gotten a replacement transmission. How much that's true, I'm not sure of. Okay, because I wasn't physically there to see them switch it out. But I went with that. We're at 126,000 miles now. So, and that being said, I went ahead and I changed out the transmission fluid for the first time today. And then I did the engine oil change, and now we're getting ready to figure out why I don't have any rear parking brake. When I pull the brake lever, you should have about, what did they say, 3 to 5 clicks or something like that. Used to be the old standard. I have nothing. I could pull it all the way up and the rear brakes do not hold up whatsoever. So that tells me something's going on inside of the rear drum, whether we're out of pad or maybe a hardware came undone or something like that. So I'm going to start off in the passenger rear. A buddy of mine told me, who I work with, Shane, told me that the passenger rear is usually the one that wears out the fastest. That includes rotors and drums. Now, how much of that's true, I'm not sure, but he's certainly done it longer than I have, so I'm going to go with that. So we're going to take off the passenger rear and see if we can't see what's going on. If we have pad life, we'll jump over to the driver's side and we'll check it out. So let's get rolling. I'm using the rigid. Yes, I am using a chrome socket. It's all I got here, but it should be fine. Every once in a while, sockets can get stuck. You can usually get them unstuck by tapping them, or just start the thread again and then wiggle the socket until it comes off. Alright, tires off. For safety reasons, I have the jack underneath the rear control arm, and I have a jack stand up front, so we should be good to go with that. Oh yeah, it's going to be a little bit stubborn, I can already tell. So, we'll bring out some persuasion. This is a little brass hammer from Snap-on. I don't really get a lot of use out of it, so figured we'd use it today. Well, that's interesting. Didn't expect to see that much shoe life left, but looks like we got a lot of shoe life left. It might just be out of adjustment, so we can readjust the rear drum. There's a star wheel here. I'll bring you in, show you what it looks like, and we can adjust that a little bit, and then we'll jump over to the other side and see how the other side looks. So let me get some brake cleaner, see if I have any sandpaper. I'd like to try to scuff the shoes and just kind of clean it up a little bit, and then we'll put it back together, and we'll check the drum and see how much slop there's in it. If there's a little bit of slop, we'll adjust the star wheel, and that should expand the shoes more towards the drum and should grab better. So let me get some stuff. Alright, well, before we make any kind of adjustments, I don't know if you guys can see this or not. Let me see if I can bring the camera in closer. But right down in there, there's a little star wheel. And what you would use is a brake spoon like this to either pull it down or get some leverage and lift it up. So, I might have to go this way. Like so. And that should be pushing those shoes out towards the drum. But before we get too crazy with the adjustment, we want to clean this up a little bit, slide the drum on, give it a wiggle, see how tight or loose it is, and adjust from there. So let me set you guys back up over here. There There you go. And so what I got to clean this up, this is just like a regular brake service, what you do if you have plenty of pad life like we do on this one. This has about 4, maybe 5 millimeter left of the shoe life, and you know, it's got 126,000 miles on it. Not sure when the last time the shoes were actually done on it, so I would say, you know, it's always good to have your brakes inspected. If you don't have them inspected every service, at least have them checked out every other service to see where your pad life is. But since this is pretty much front-wheel drive car, most of my braking is done from the front, and this is pretty much just for parking brake. Looks like here, I'm looking at it right now actually, as we're talking about rear brakes and inspections, I've actually got a leaking shock. So I've got some leakage going on here. So this might be at the end of its life, and wouldn't be a half bad idea for us to consider changing out our rear shocks at some point. But since we do not need to do drum brakes today, we'll clean it up, and then we'll take the shoes back to the auto parts store, and we'll see how much rear shocks cost. But let's go ahead and talk about how I like to service the rear brakes. So what I like to do is get some terry cloth or some kind of lightly, you know, gritted sandpaper. And what I'll do is I'll just actually kind of scrub the surface of the shoes like so. Sometimes they get a little bit glazed, and that could cause a squeaking. And how you take care of that is simply just scrub it up a little bit like so. Now, you can use some soapy water and run it over the top of the shoes and the hardware, and that'll clean it up just fine, you know. Or you can hit it with brake cleaner. Soapy water is definitely the cheaper path to go for sure. We're just giving it a light scrub, trying to take off that shine on the shoes. We'll do the same thing over here. Get in there nice and good. Now what I'll end up doing is the same thing on the other side. If the other side looks the same, and I'll just scrub them down. I won't bother filming it, you guys are already watching the process now. I'll just scrub them down, make the adjustment, and we'll go from there. So that's pretty much it. You know, try to keep a non-directional finish on it by maybe going in a circle or going back and forth, up and down. The idea is really just to get off the glaze. And you'll want to do the same thing to the inside of the drum. You just take yourself that little piece of sandpaper and just kind of go around the inside of the drum, again in a non-directional pattern, and take off some of the inside shining there. Let's go like that. Don't want to get too crazy. It doesn't look too bad, to be honest. There we go. Just kind of keep that going around until we've gone all the way around the drum. There, I'm pretty happy with that. And then I'll take some brake cleaner, like I said, soapy water, and just kind of go around, basically rinsing it out, cleaning it from that debris, from the friction material that was in there. Alright. And we'll go ahead and we'll do the same thing to the top of the drum here. Or I'm sorry, the shoes and the hardware. like so. Now I don't have a soft pedal or anything like that, but if I did have a soft pedal, another check that you can do to see if the wheel cylinder is leaking or not is you can just pull this little boot back and take a peek on the inside to see if it's leaking. And of course I don't see any fluid, so we're good. But again, that's if you have a soft pedal. So we don't have a soft pedal. What I have is a lack of parking brake. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put the drum back on. I'll give it a spin. And really, it actually sounds pretty good. But I'll see if we can adjust it just a little bit more. All right. That's a little bit difficult to put on, so we might actually be good with that. You want a little bit of drag, not a lot. That actually feels and sounds pretty good. So now we'll put the wheel back on, we'll jump over to the other side, and we'll see how that side looks. All right, so we got the other wheel zapped on. I'm gonna go ahead and take this one off, see what it looks like. All right. Grab my couple little tools here. That's on there pretty good too. Again, pads look pretty good. I think all it needs is an adjustment. So I'm gonna spray this one down, clean it up. I'll adjust this one a little bit. Then we'll check our parking brake again, see what's going on. Whew, it's actually kind of getting warmer today. I like it. I love it, love it, love it. Just went and threw my head under the sink for a little bit. All right, so we made our adjustments. We tightened down the lug nuts best we could. Of course, it's always better to hand torque them. I do not have a torque wrench on me today, so I used the breaker bar and went by feel, and I feel pretty confident that my tires and the lug nuts are good to go. So come tomorrow, when I go to work, I'll just go out and verify it with a torque wrench, so not a big deal. I don't really have anywhere pressing to go today anyways, so let's see if the brake adjustment worked. So I got my foot on the brake. Always want to make sure that you pump the brake pedal a couple of times before you try to put it in gear when you're doing any kind of brake service, because when you scuff the pads or when you move the caliper with like a screwdriver, you move the caliper out a little bit, or you got to reset the pads, you got to reset the shoes. So sorry, now the camera is vibrating out of control. So now what we're gonna do is I'm just gonna test the parking brake and see if it feels any different. Okay, well that's all the way up. I'm gonna put it in drive. Holds. Cool. No movement. That's good to go. Put that down. Creep forward. Again, pull and set the parking brake. And we are good. Happy with that. Brake seems to be holding up. I might want to adjust it a little bit more, a little bit later. I just feel like when I'm pulling on the e-brake handle that it shouldn't have to be that much to set the parking brake, but unfortunately that's what it wants. all the way up to be set. It could just be a Mercury Mariner thing. Most parking brakes, you can really feel them engage right away. Or this one, it'll kind of rock forward a little bit, but it does hold. So, all right, let's wrap up this video. So thanks guys for watching. I appreciate it. Make sure to like, share, subscribe if you want. Today we got a chance to see how to adjust the rear brakes. We got a chance to investigate the rear brakes to see you know, what was going on there, and clearly they were just out of adjustment by a little bit. Pad life looked good. Got a chance to see how to basically do a small brake service and clean up the inside of the drums and scrub the shoes, and now everything looks like it's good to go, and our e-brake is holding. So I'm going to take back the brake shoes that I did buy back to O'Reilly, since we didn't have to use them. And you guys enjoy the rest of your day. Cheers and thanks for watching.